Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Waterfed Wednesdays, where we go beyond the bucket and dive into the world of waterfed cleaning and answer questions about our equipment, our business, and our goal of helping cleaners worldwide to get the job done faster, safer, and better. I'm Rebecca, and joining us today is Jamie Hallman. We're your hosts today for Waterfed Wednesdays, talking about growth for 2025. For some of those that don't know me, I am the marketing director for Tucker. I've been here about 4 or 5 months. I come from the home services world where I did flooring, window replacement, siding, cabinetry, you name it. As for Jamie, he owns his own successful window cleaning company in Michigan, and he is now our in house sales consultant as of just a few months ago. And thank you so much, Jamie, for co hosting with me today. I'm a little nervous.
You're doing good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This is my second time, so I got a little bit more. I do videos all the time though, so happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to talking with you.
Wonderful. Well, we're here to talk about the checklist of setting up growth for 2025. I think the first thing that I kind of want to attack is how was your 2024? What was some lessons learned or some missed opportunities? Just hindsight 2020. Let us know how it went.
Yeah, 2024 was awesome. So that will go down as my last solo year. I did a lot of growing last year. I did a lot of kind of fixing things, learning what went well, what didn't, reflecting. I haven't been doing a whole lot of that in prior years. I've just been kind of building and just not. And now I can kind of take a step back, reflect, and as many of people know that are probably watching, I'm going to be diving into the hiring realm, and I hopped on with Home Service Business Coach last year. Shout out Dave Mormon. And it's been going fantastic. It's setting me up to really catapult me into the next phase of the business. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm learning a lot more about my clients. I'm learning a lot more about the marketing aspect, which I really didn't do before. Allocating funds for that, budgeting for different sort of things, and really just turning the cheek, and I'm working more on the business than in it. So yeah, it's going well.
How many are you trying to hire this year?
So my goal is two part-timers and one full-timer. I don't want to be more in the truck more than like 2 days. And then in 2026, I don't want to be in the truck at all. I want to be solely sales, operations, and stuff like that. So because I'm the bottleneck in my business right now, and I'm going to remove that.
So, did you meet your goals for 2024?
Yeah, 2024 was revenue wise was the best season I've had, which is awesome. But I've definitely peaked, and I've done things very slowly compared to a lot of guys. Usually, either they'll start right away hiring, or within a year, 2 years. I'm going on my seventh year. And I've laid as much as the foundation as I can to really catapult us going forward and not hit any roadblocks. And it's not going to be perfect, I know that, but I think I've done a really good job in putting myself in the community, building the reviews, building everything that I need to set me and the team that I bring on up for success.
So, we have a great question. Thank you, Chappelle Solar Cleaning, for chiming in. I've got a great question here that I think, Billy Bob, we're going to probably tackle in just a few minutes. Just want to get to know a little bit more about Jamie and his plan for 2025 and how he can help. Um, give that advice or lead the way for 2025 and set up our businesses for success. So I will get back to you, I promise. As for 2025, so I know for me, I really look at the big picture. At Tucker, our leadership team just got together in January. We line out our entire year goal,
Nice.
revenue goal, or profit, and then I try to make those goals that lean towards that 1 year picture. As an owner operator, 7 years in the business, how do you go about 2025? Like, what's your year end goal, and how do you measure it? What tools do you use, and how do you lay out your budget? Like, do you do a 4% marketing budget? Or are you all word of mouth?
Yeah, so those are all great questions. So, um, one thing that I'm trying to do, and that's one thing I'm learning through HSBC, is writing everything down. Right, I really kind of flew off the brim of my hat the last few years, and I knew everything I wanted to do up here, but I didn't write anything down. I didn't hold myself really super accountable, and that's one thing that I want to do a lot more this year. And I'm going to have to do a lot more to see success with bringing on um, more responsibility for me, right? And for the business, bringing guys or girls on that want to succeed with me. Um, I think writing everything down is huge. As far as marketing wise, I have never really actively marketed, and that's one thing I'm trying to dive deeper into. Whether it be magazines or their paid advertising, I'm going to try and do as much organic advertising as I can. Right? You got your five arounds, you got your yard signs, you got your referral program, which I'm going to be starting up this season, and link it to my website so I can actively create funnels of referrals through through my network of clients. I have very supportive clients, and I think I can really leverage them to help catapult me without spending too much money on marketing right away. Now, eventually, that'll probably come to a halt, right? Like I'll get as much as I can, squeeze as much as I can out of those type of organic marketing, and if I want to continue to succeed, then I'm going to have to start implementing, a marketing budget, which usually I don't want to spend more than like 5 to 7% on that of my revenue. Um, but that's something I don't think I'm going to really push this season. I want to really focus on the organics and move that forward. So
Great. You were talking about Google reviews. And how many reviews do you have right now?
So I have about 160, 159 5 stars, 1 4 star. But I'm 5 star across the board, and I've really, really worked at that since day one, because I knew Google was going to be such a pivotal piece to my um, client base. Right. I would say probably 80% right now of my clients that I get to help are from Google. So, and I have surpassed pretty much every window cleaner business in my area, which has put me in the map pack, which is what you see when you search something, the first three or four. That 1, 2, 3, 4 that show up right away, and I've done that without spending any money on SEO, so I think it's possible for sure.
Good for you. It's pretty hard. A lot of owner operators don't just take those small little steps that can just give you a little bit more inch above the competitors.
Yeah,
So
I think a lot of it is a lot of guys getting patient. A lot of girls, that start up that want to kind of hit the road at 100 miles an hour, and a lot of the times it doesn't start like that. And I think a lot of the success that I've had thus far, and I have a long way to go. I have a long list of things I want to learn and activate. But I think what has made me so successful so far is just the pace. I've taken a very slow pace, a very calculated pace, and I think that has helped me a lot in not making as many mistakes, but also when I do make mistakes, learning from those going forward.
how do you manage your lead generation? So I know here at Tucker, we don't really have a great CRM system, as you've
Yeah.
noticed, is coming on to inside sales. Pretty archaic with the Excel spreadsheet. Do you have something on that lead generation? It's something that you're always tapping into. You're making sure that it's always there. It's, whether it's low hanging fruit or not. How do you nourish or rehash some of those leads?
Yeah. So right now, I utilize a CRM that anybody that's looking to start any kind of home service business, get a CRM right away. I wish I would have started it right away. I didn't enter my CRM till about 3 years ago, which means all of those clients that I've cleaned prior are not in my CRM, which is a big problem going forward. But I think one of the biggest goals that I have this year is really keeping track via my CRM where leads are coming from, whether it be referral based, Google based, simple phone call, Facebook, Instagram. I really want to keep track, but creating a retention budget for your existing clients, I think will be huge. I have probably 50 to 60,000 booked for 2025 that I was able to retain via repeat clients. And I wish that was about 30% more, but I have to take what I can get. And I think that's a slow process that will also continue to grow, to eventually I want to be hopefully 80% retention year over year.
It's wonderful. And for me in the HVAC world, our case study showed when I was in that world, 80% of the business should have become from repeat customers. 80%
Yeah,
puts
that's
a
a
lot
lot.
of money
Yeah,
down to the bottom line.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I loved how you talked a little bit about your organic growth. Something that Jamie and I were talking offline a little bit is I feel like even in my past, I haven't really taken advantage of email marketing as much as I think that people should. It's typically a free platform unless you have, the 10,000 subscribers that we have. But,
right.
at Tucker, I just pulled a report for 2024 and we generated over $500,000 from email marketing. And I know you had said you had some success as well. And I really think this is something that is free. It takes a little bit of
Yeah,
thought, a little bit of strategy, but it would definitely be something that I would recommend that people put in their arsenal for marketing. How do
yeah.
you?
It's a simple email, right? Like if you can, and ChatGPT helps me out in a lot of this, honestly, because I have everything up here, but getting it down in a very professional, easy to think about, list is another thing. But I hate spamming people, and that's one reason I don't do door to door or anything like that, right? I really can't stand it. But I usually will kick out 2 to 3 emails a year. I'm going to really up that this year, I think, and go at least one quarterly. Um, Now, mind you, before I leave any client, I do try to book them for their next every 6 months, right? Like that's the name of the game with window cleaning. That's what makes it such a lucrative and easy to scale business, is because I have had less than 400 clients this year, but I've also reached kind of my max. But I've been able to retain a lot of those. I don't know. That's weird. That just popped up. But yeah, and a lot of that is just simple email. I just booked my biggest commercial client from last season. It was like a $5,000 window cleaning bid, which is pretty big for window cleaning. The ticket sizes aren't as big as pressure washers and roof washers and all that. But yeah, that's my biggest commercial account. And all it took was one email reminder to my contact at this specific spot he's like, yeah, let's do it. I sent him it. I even upped it a little from last year, right? Like I'm always, I need to do that more often, up my prices a little bit, but he returned it within 2 minutes. And it was just as simple as that. Boom, $5,000 on the books for next season. And all it took was a simple email. So I tell people, definitely don't forget about your existing clients, because they can make you, they can really give you the push going into the season that you need.
Perfect. Um, I am gonna tackle this question really quick. Not
Yep.
sure if Billy's on still, but what is better for marketing, Facebook ads or Google LSA? Um, I know that you're not doing either, correct, Jamie?
I'm not doing any paid advertising at this moment. No.
Okay. So this really matters on your market, in my humble opinion. Facebook is a great avenue where you can do some targeted ads. Just measure it. I'm not a huge fan of the form fill that Facebook provides, so I would have a specific landing page. I would definitely dial in on your audience and make it very targeted. I love that it's fluid, though. You can change it at any time. In some areas, they worked really great for me. I had a Texas market that had 24 brick and mortar locations that it seemed to work really well for lead generation. But it's also once you get that lead, you need to make sure you call right away.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's all about the lead capture.
Right.
It doesn't matter what platform or marketing channel that you choose. Um, so I really think that it matters. I know that the Facebook ad generation that I did for a company in Chicago, it didn't work well at all. And I don't know if that was just more of a rural. It was outside of Chicago, the rural area. Maybe it just didn't hit that demographic. So I think that there's a lot of factors to say which is better, which is worse. Google LLSA, I am a huge fan of. It's a market that you can dispute your charges. So if you lay out a budget for $100 a week and you get a call from someone who's asking if you're hiring, you can dispute that lead and you get your money back.
Oh, nice.
So it's a really easy pay to play platform. Google LSA also ranks higher on the sponsored ads. So if someone, and just to clarify for people who don't know what GLSA is, it's Google Local Services Advertising. And some people also refer to it as Google Guarantee. It's that green little Google
Mm,
Guarantee that's on the top bar.
yeah.
It's not available in every market. And it's not available for every industry in every single market. So as I was running GLSA ads in Denver for window replacement and siding replacement, it was not available for my same location in Arizona. Um, I will say in the Denver market, GLSA is booming. I would highly recommend. I've also used it in California for an HVAC company. It didn't work at all.
Mm.
They would probably get like 2 leads a month out of it. So it really depends on the market. Um, and if you want to DM me later or email us later, I'm happy to look into your market for you.
Nice. Yeah, I think another key point, at least to Facebook, I grew my business initially on Facebook, and their algorithms changing constantly. Back in 2018, when I made the page, I got out to a lot more people than I do now. And I was getting through to more people with less than 1,000 followers now that I do closer to 2,000 followers, which I don't do. I've done a little bit of messing with the ads, but I think A and B testing is huge for those type of ads, too, to see what works well, because you don't want to blow money on just one ad when you could have been testing two or three, and you could just funnel that money into the one that's doing a lot better than the other ones. So
Well, and that's also depending on what play you want to do, right? Are you trying to do a branding play? Are you trying to do a lead generation play? So
sure.
I think,
Yeah, that's true. And I guess the first thing that come to my mind is jobs, right? So like I'm trying to get people to fill out, go to my website, lead form, and all that jazz. So yeah, that's very true.
um, so for 2025, do you have a number in mind?
I'm trying to double. I'm trying to hit that 300K. We'll see if I have to do a lot of footwork to do that. I'm gonna be really pushing door hangers come March. Maybe late February even. It depends. We have been Arctic here in Michigan. The low last night it was like 6 below, and wind chill was like 30 below. So I'm trying to use this time to kind of get all my systems and processes in place to be able to take off come spring whenever that happens here. But yeah, I mean it's a pretty big goal. But I think if I can just keep the lead gen coming, and really, really push that, I think we'll be pretty good.
That's excellent. At Tucker, we have a 22% increase by the end of the year, which is hefty.
Yeah.
Um, Even doubling, that's pretty hefty. So, kudos to you, and we wish you nothing but luck. I've got Jack Kinney here. Actually, didn't you just Facebook us this morning? What was the most crucial physical marketing for your business? Vehicle wraps, yard signs, door hangers. So, on all of your organic marketing, what do you think was the most crucial in the last 7 years?
Yep. So I think most crucial for me, in regards, I mean, was by hands down was Google. Getting a listing on Google was, I mean, almost overnight. Once I started getting the reviews in there, and people started calling me, I think that was one of the biggest things. A wrap is huge as well, though, because you're a rolling billboard. I've seen people next to me take pictures. I'm gonna put a QR code on my vehicles here pretty soon, so I think that would help. But I mean, it's weird for me because I've been at capacity almost for 2 or 3 years now without really making that jump, right? I've been a little scared to be honest. But I've yard signs also do awesome. I just haven't been putting out because I didn't need any more work. I wasn't trying to hire in the middle of the season. And then this last year is when I first time in 7 years I did door hangers, to do 5 around. So, but I think setting up your physical marketing, I think definitely get a wrap, make sure people see you coming, see you going. I think one thing HSBC has been teaching us as well is putting those like sandwich boards at the end of the driveway every time you do a house, so people can. All neighbors are nosy, right? So they're walking by, they're taking pictures, they're looking out their windows, and you put a QR code that goes right to your website. And then when you're done, pick it up, maybe leave a yard sign. And I think that'll suit you really well. It's a long game, but I think it'll work pretty well.
Perfect. How many yard signs do you even buy? In my former role, it was it turned up being pretty expensive, but we were also doing probably 1,400 jobs a month.
Yeah, jeez,
So it got really expensive.
no kidding.
Oh, wait, I've got another question. What is a decent price to pay for a wrap or a decal?
So if you're gonna do, I highly suggest one of the biggest things that I did was I bought a white vehicle. Both my truck, my Tundra, and my Transit 250 are white. And what that's allows you to do is allows you to partially wrap it while making it look like a full wrap. It saves you quite a bit of money. I have a pretty local contact here that I use. I paid around $800 for a partial wrap. I think anywhere between 900 to 1,500 for a partial wrap is a good estimate, and you're going to be probably approaching $2,000 to 2,500 for a full wrap, depending on what you're trying to do. Because if you're trying to do something pretty intricate in regards to like the design, they're going to spend more time designing. You're going to pay more money. So I think trying to do the partial wrap on a white vehicle will be pretty good.
I actually highly agree with you. My HVAC company that I formerly was with it's a full on wrap, and it actually costs us around 3,000 a van.
Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, and it's going to be across the board. I mean, you're gonna have guys that charge. I mean, just like your services, right? There's guys that charge a lot less. There's guys that charge a lot more, and I suggest kind of going towards the more, not all the way to the top, but get at least 3 or 4 quotes, because somebody can really mess up your vehicle if they don't know what they're doing. So
Got it. So, as for me in marketing, I'm pretty a big planner, and I know these are a lot of smaller businesses that follow us at Tucker, some large ones as well.
yeah,
Um, there's some things I'll be putting out there just from a marketing standpoint. Um, I kind of go through a checklist is from my perspective. I always review 2024 performance. Yeah, I went through every single campaign, see what worked and what didn't. Always like to make sure that I'm analyzing the data, I'm properly budgeting, allocating where it needs to be, being on budget. And then it's always a chance to review, right? Things just happen. I knew, how do you get away from COVID? How do you get away from the election? These are all things that kind of impact the next year. And so I try to be proactive and I try to think about those things. And I have these scenarios. Okay, what would I do if? What would I do if? Type of thing. So those are just kind of some of the things that I do on the marketing end to plan for 2025. And we're looking for a positive year, 22% growth. We got it.
that's going to be awesome. You guys are going to crush it. I mean, I'm already, you know, to have the opportunity with you guys is just fantastic. I love everything Tucker's doing. I love the innovation that Sean's bringing to the table and the whole team. And I think, yeah, I think it's gonna sky's the limit, man.
That's perfect. And look, we've got Billy is giving us a recommendation. Always buy yard signs from UZ Marketing. They have the best pricing. So
Nice, nice.
guys, take note.
Yeah.
Um,
One more hit on yard signs. I made not a mistake, but I thought it was a great idea to buy really thick ones, that can hold to the weather. But then you got to go back and pick them up. Don't forget that. So that became an issue pretty quick, forgetting to pick up yard signs and people calling you. So I would recommend maybe going like the really, really thin route and going not as cheap as possible, but as simple as possible. And this year, my goal is just, hey, when the client's sick of looking at it, toss it, because it's just not worth going to pick up again, to be honest.
great. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. Anything else you want to add about 2025 or growth strategies? I know one thing we didn't touch on is the coaching that you do.
Yeah.
You really rely on your coach and you're coaching other entrepreneurs. How would someone go about that avenue?
I mean, I think you got to get to a point where I was so hesitant on growing, and I never really wanted to quit my full-time job initially. I never really wanted to hire. Like, you're going to get to the point and you're going to know where it's like, I can't do this by myself. And by bringing on HSBC home service business coach like I did, I saved myself 2 or 3 years of mistakes, and they've given me everything I've needed to really push my brand, hire the right people, make as little as mistakes as possible. And you'll know when you get there. It's almost like an inner thing where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore with myself, but I also don't want to spend the next 3 years figuring it out. So there's a lot of good coaching guys out there. I jumped on with HSBC because of the reviews. I've talked to a lot of guys that went through the system. I've talked personally with David and Landon and the guys over there, and they have excellent morals. They're always there for you when you need them, and the price point was on. So yeah, if anybody wants have any questions, 269-769-8849. I'd be happy to help you. Have any questions about Tucker, any equipment, feel free to shoot me a text, shoot me a call. I'll help you out.
Perfect. And give us your shout out for your YouTube and your Facebook if people want to follow.
Yep, you can find me on YouTube. Just search Hallman Window Washing. I'll come right up. It's my emoji guy. And also Facebook, same thing. All my handles are the same. Yeah, I'm there. So get at me.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us and being patient with my first time hosting.
You crushed it. Good job.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, joining, liking, subscribing. We've almost got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so go ahead and click that button for me. And don't forget to take advantage of our January sale. It's 10% off store wide. That will be changing February 1st, so act now. Thank you so much, everyone. Rebecca Chapla signing out. Thanks, Jamie. We will see you soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.